Hello, we are back for another Monetize with Megan, and today we are talking about how your wounds are your fast track to your wealth. Yes, wounds are wealth. They are the codes to our ultimate freedom, like they hold specific coding to our freedom. Our wounds are no accident. And when we shift our wounds into our wisdom, that then becomes our wealth, that is also no accident. It's actually the alchemization process. So for those of you who are woo-woo AF like me, you're really going to love this topic. But also those of you who are ambitious and really committed to millions, to having that sort of financial freedom, you're gonna love this as well. Go figure, I'm holding two sometimes seemingly opposing ideas and bringing them into one. Okay, so welcome if this is your first time. If it's your first time, put in the chat below. First time, I want to know if this is fresh and new for you. If you are someone who catches Monetize with Megan every day, put every day, or not every day, every Monday, put every Monday. Thank you for coming back time and time again. That lets me know that you are getting some good, juicy, golden nuggets here. And today's topic of wounds into your wealth, right? How your wounds are your shortcut to your wealth is really near and dear to my heart, because my journey to this sort of life that I live now, right? One that I would consider extremely luxurious, very safe and cozy and fulfilling. I would consider it wealth in all areas, of course, financially, definitely time, as I work about 3 to 4 hours a day. Experience, as I, I travel the world. I've gone all over in the last couple of years. There's just a lot of wealth, right? Like my family is growing. My family is so connected and conscious, right? We're doing all of the healing up the generation, down the generation. My kids want and need for nothing. I really consider wealth in all areas, right? We get to see the greatest naturopathic doctors or functional medicine, right? Whatever it is, health, wealth, love, joy, there is a lot of it in my life. And so often I'm asked, yeah, but like how? How did you do that? It must have been easy for you, right? I've even had a client recently asked, well, did your husband help you when you first got started? Did someone invest in your business? Like, how did you actually get all of this to happen? And that lets me know that there needs to be some really raw, honest, vulnerable truth-telling within the entrepreneurial world, especially in online business. Because while we can see on social media, it just seems like millionaires just pop up everywhere now, right? Like start a business and they're successful. That there is a lot of gaslighting in that. And this is not to dog the coaching industry. I love the coaching industry. I personally have mentorship for my relationship. I have mentorship for my spiritual evolution. I have a mentorship for my health, right? Like I am always open to receiving. And the coaching industry has been a place that I have received a lot. And so this is no diss whatsoever. And it is also like, hey, there's more than the highlight reels. And no, I did not just wake up running a successful business, knowing how to do that, knowing how to juggle my family life and leading a team, knowing how to not only be really good at my genius zone of intuitive consulting for my clients, but then also know how to do sales and marketing. Like that wasn't how it happened, right? It has been an evolution, and it started for me. This may not be everyone's story, but it started for me in pain, in a lot of sorrow, and a lot of grief, and a lot of trauma that I was very deeply immersed in the wounding that I had experienced, whether it was growing up without a father figure, having been abandoned by my father, whether it was the experience at 16 years old of being raped, not being autonomous of my own body, right? Or 3 years after that, being sex trafficked to Las Vegas. And there was a lot of wounding, right? And when I started to awaken, really be aware and conscious of these patterns that were happening in my life that previously I'd really just identified as the victim with and to, right? I'm like the victim of that. I am the victim to that. And in my awakening, which was happening simultaneously as my entrepreneurial journey, right? Because I was now a single mom of 2 little kids, and it was really important for me to learn how I could support them. However, and so I had like an entrepreneurial drive, right? I had a vision, I had a desire, I was being called intuitively to something else. And what was standing in the way, and I hear this often today of other people who have a big vision and they want to take their business to the next level, was my wounding. The wounding that I had experienced in the sex industry, in abandonment, in really a difficult financial experience growing up. My mom was a single mom, right? Like she was many times helped by the government. So wealth and freedom and sovereignty and joy, like these were not codes that I was aware of and that were activated within me from the beginning. They weren't. They were ones that I have awoken to. And I bet those of you that are here now, or even especially those catching the replay as well, right? Like you have wounding, like there is something there that is holding you back from going all into your business. And mine was absolutely, I was afraid of cancel culture, which is like the remnants of witch burning culture, right? Not only was I very magical in generating money, part of my wounding was I couldn't keep it, right? That's why I could resonate with something like sex trafficking, where I had the magnetism to make millions of dollars and was unable to hold a boundary or care for myself in a way that would allow me to benefit from that work that had been done, right? So we all have these wounds. And I bet just as listening to this, you're kind of thinking of your own, like, oh my gosh, my parents never believed in me. They just wanted me to go to school and play it safe and get this job. Or, look, Megan is so confident talking into this video. I'm shy. I don't think that I could ever do that. Me either when I started, right? Me either. My intuition has been pounded out of me since I was a little kid because like you have these wounds that are like at the forefront. And what I want you to know is that when we are in the alchemization process, which by the way, business is a beautiful opportunity to let these wounds surface so that you can see them, so that you can be conscious of them, right? Because for many of you, it's running unconsciously in the background and it's running your whole life, right? That's why you aren't seeing the success in your business. But when we can let business be our partner in surfacing these wounds, we can then take these wounds and move through an alchemical process that goes wounds to wisdom to wealth, right? They're actually all one. They're all one. It's all housed in the same sphere. It is a paradox that one is the other. And so all this time, while you've been thinking, well, gosh, I need to heal this before I do that, it is actually the doing that. It is actually the business that provides you the opportunity to extract the wisdom from those wounds and then allow that wisdom to flourish into wealth, right? So people are always wanting the results. that I get to experience now. And I don't want to downplay that. Like, the highlight reel of my life is impressive and I love it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I would never try to talk someone out of making a fuck ton of money, because it has changed my life. It has changed the trajectory of my family's lives, right? We have legacy at this moment. Like, my kids are not going to grow up wondering how they are going to be able to take care of themselves, right? They will be able to follow their bliss from day one. And these results that I experience today came from looking at my wounds and holding them near and dear and moving through the alchemical process to discovering the wisdom that was in those wounds. Like, what was the exalted, bigger meaning to those moments that could have just taken me out? And I considered that many times, right? Like, this is just so much for me. It would just be easier to give up. It would be easier to succumb to the matrix, just go get a job, just do these things. But actually, it wasn't. It wasn't easier to do that. It isn't easier for me to think about being away from my kids 40 or 50 hours a week, knowing that because I'm in this rat race of the matrix of trading time for money, that one day that is all my kids will have the option of. Now, if they want to experience that, I can honor their decision. And what if they want a different experience? They will have that available. So going into these wounds that we are so afraid to touch because they're so uncomfortable, hold your wisdom of what makes you open up to the wealth that is already in your sphere, right? So anytime you see someone who is enjoying the fruits of their labor, who is enjoying results that you think, gosh, I'm pretty good at my craft, like Megan. Like, Megan doesn't seem all that more intelligent or capable than me. Why does she get these results and not me? And the answer is because I did the uncomfortable work, not just the strategic work. I definitely did that too, right? The strategic work is plug and play. Let's read the directions and plug and play it. Right? When people come into my sphere, that is the quickest, easiest thing we do. We have a blueprinting session for 90 minutes and they know their next 12 months in business. It is not until they start working that strategy and something surfaces, a wound, right? That now we're really playing with something. Oh, this wound is juicy. Let's look at it from all different angles, right? Let's look at it as the one that experienced it. Let's look at it as the one that witnessed it. Let's look at it from the other's perception. Let's begin to extract the wisdom from that wound, because so much of my wisdom in business today and my results with money come from a harrowing, terrifying experience when I was sex trafficked. It was a terrible experience, and I could have gone down the path of being the victim of it forever, being too afraid to be seen, right? Like, it was extreme shyness. It was hide me from the world. It was so much shame I could barely look at myself. I could have continued down that path, right? That is an option. It is a potential. And the other option and the other potential was to extract the wisdom, to choose to do the integration and the healing. And when I had that wisdom, I could start providing that to others, which turned into my wealth. So I want you to feel into what wounds do you feel are running your life right now? Those are actually the key to your success. Those are the wounds that I want you to come to me and journey with me in Intuitive Wealth Mastermind or in a one-to-one, so that we can take those wounds and give them the purpose that they're really meant here for, which is to be exalted into wisdom and into wealth, right? It is not linear. It is not heal and then do that, right? Because that will never happen, right? It is like life. It is life. It is source. It is God. It's always happening, and it isn't necessarily linear. So if this has landed for you, I urge you to allow yourself support. Support is the greatest thing I've ever given myself, especially the aspect that felt so wounded. She needed love. She needed support. She needed guidance. And now, whether I need it or not, I give it to myself. And this is your formal invitation. Below, I'm going to put a link for a freedom plan where we can talk about what your wounds are, which are basically those things that you think are keeping you from more success in your business or more time freedom or more financial freedom, and actually start applying extracting the wisdom out of that, because it will be your wealth. So this call is really not for those who want to continue playing in the wounding story. It's really for those who want to experience wisdom and wealth from the wounds that you've already had. Like, you've already suffered with the wounds. Now let's let them serve us. Let's let them serve us. So that link will be below. Thank you for being here and letting me share my story. I know it can be so easy to think like, gosh, she just did it so quickly and so easily. And actually it's been 15 years of getting to know myself better, applying these spiritual principles to my business plan and to myself as a leader, and then being able to support clients in doing the same. So while it is absolutely doable, it's multifaceted. And for those of you who are ready for that sort of initiatory, joyful, like it can be joyful. It's finally, oh, these wounds don't have me by the neck anymore, right? These wounds are collaborative. These wounds hold wisdom. And there is where you find the freedom. So that freedom plan will be below. I hope to get to know you better. Bye for now.